One of the most iconic and influential roller coaster companies of all time is B&M. B&M has been a very consistent player in the industry, with them creating quality attractions that are crowd favorites. B&M has their foot in the door with every major theme park chain in the United States as well as around the world, and they're continuing to grow. Unlike companies such as Intamin who have severed ties with certain parks, B&M seems to be an option at every major theme park. B&M does around 3 to 4 coasters every year. In 2024, they opened Iron Menace, Penguin Trek, and Phoenix Rising. 2 of those were family prototypes, while the other was a classic dive coaster with a pretty awesome layout. 3 has been the magic number for B&M. They've been doing 3 coasters every year, and they are all pretty awesome. However, in 2025, we have the potential to see 6 different coasters by B&M, and who knows, maybe even more. So what are those 6 potential coasters? Well, we have Rapterra going to King's Dominion. That's pretty much already built. Wrath of Rakshasha, sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly, going to Six Flags Great America. We have 2 coasters coming to Legoland parks. Those are going to be their family inverted model. And as well as we have 1 other inverted coaster coming to a park in India. We can see that B&M has strengthened their relationship with the Six Flags umbrella, which now includes the Cedar Fair parks, as well as the different Legoland parks. And not to mention the whole SeaWorld thing. The last 3 coasters to come to Florida were all by B&M, so this relationship is also very strong. It's also very telling that they've done prototypes at the SeaWorld, or now the United Parks. It is very likely that we will see more B&M coasters come to the United Parks soon, and I'm talking about Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Busch Gardens Williamsburg has already begun teasing for their new 2025 attraction, which is going to be some type of spiritual successor to the original Big Bad Wolf. The current rumor is that it's going to be a B&M family inverted coaster such as Phoenix Rising, but a little bit bigger and potentially having 2 lift hills. Now, all cards on the table, Phoenix Rising is just okay. It gets the job done for being a pretty good family coaster, but I question the park's decision for only getting 1 train. Now, if Busch Gardens Williamsburg's Project 25 is legitimately by B&M and it's a family inverted coaster, it could be pretty cool if they themed it right. Phoenix Rising doesn't have a lot of theming, but I'd imagine if you were going through buildings and maybe going around a wolf or something, it would be pretty awesome. Now, there's also a chance that this could be something else. I would think an S&S Axis coaster would be a no-brainer here, but that's beside the point. This video is about B&M. We can see a clear shift in the company's direction. They are now focusing on family coasters just as much as they are focusing on their classic thrill attractions. Now, this is a very strategic move. If a company out there is looking to purchase a new coaster, let's say an inverted coaster, a family invert, who are they going to look to? Well, there are a couple companies that can do it. We have Vekoma with their family inverts, which are pretty good. You can see rides like Dragonflyer at Dollywood. You also have Premier Rides, which is capable of doing inverts, but we haven't really seen that. We have S&S. Obviously, we have Intamin. We know they can do it. But if a park already has a great relationship with B&M, they're going to choose B&M the majority of the time. B&M's main seller is their reliability. So what B&M did by focusing on the family coasters is they're taking the market share away from these other companies. And this also opened the door to more parks that they probably couldn't have got into before. I'm talking about those Legoland parks, which probably wouldn't benefit from a huge hypercoaster, even though that would be pretty awesome. And let's not forget about their wonderful thrill rides. B&M is once again focusing on making their thrill rides as great as ever. Wrath of Rakshasha, or however you say it, which by the way is a very odd name for a coaster. I'm not the biggest fan. However, that looks pretty awesome. We are seeing some relatively unique things for dive coasters, and Rapterra looks fun as well. So I think they're going to continue doing a split pattern. They're going to focus on family attractions because that is going to create more business for them, but they are also going to elevate the thrill coasters that we know and love. So just what is B&M going to be working on in the future? Well, nobody knows for sure, but here are some of my predictions. Number 1, they're going to continue to elevate their B&M surf coaster model. The surf coaster is a very good ride. This was kind of the ride that put my channel on the map. I love this thing, and it is one of the greatest rides in Florida, by no doubt. This technology with the seats that move up and down took a while to develop, so B&M is definitely going to further embellish this. They could make more intense surf coaster layouts, maybe having multiple inversions, but the star of the ride really is the airtime rising out of your quote-unquote seat. We've seen them make a patent for a sit-down version of this, what I'd call a bounce coaster, which is pretty cool. I definitely think we are going to see that in the future. And honestly, I thought Penguin Trek was going to utilize this technology, but now that I'm looking back at it, it wouldn't really benefit to have two of those at the same park. I've talked about this on the channel before, but B&M used to develop new coaster types very rarely. It used to take 5-6 years for them to pop out a new design. But once we saw the surf coaster, we also saw their family coaster, and we saw an improvement on their B&M family inverted coaster. So maybe the new design is sooner than we'd think, and there's kind of two areas which I see as a no-brainer for B&M. Number one is to utilize the restraints on their family coasters on their thrill coasters. And here's what I mean by that. Phoenix Rising by itself isn't an amazing ride. It's relatively lackluster, but one aspect which I think is very cool is seeing the new restraints. This over-the-shoulder lap bar is pretty cool. It's something very similar to what you would see by Vekoma with their new STC models. Could B&M just take this restraint and slap it on a thrill coaster? Well, who knows, but I would be very excited to see that. Additionally, they could also take their restraint that is on Penguin Trek and put it on one of their thrill launch coasters. Now, B&M is still definitely working on this technology. The restraints aren't perfect, especially if you're a larger rider. But being more open is super cool, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with this in the future. Since they're on the craze of improving restraints, could we possibly see a new flying coaster restraint? Or even a next generation flying coaster? Well, who knows. Vekoma's version is pretty awesome, but it hasn't really caught on as much as it should be. Would this be any different if B&M did it? We just don't know. B&M as a company is in a very good spot. Like I said, they're possibly doing 6 coasters next year, which is no easy task. Because of their relationships with all of these parks, the parks are much more likely to accept a new prototype ride, which we saw with SeaWorld Entertainment. And now Six Flags and Cedar Fair are one, so that's one giant customer for B&M. I'm very excited for the future of B&M, and I cannot wait to see what other attractions they could possibly come out with. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you think B&M could come out with within the next couple years. So thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and have a blessed day. This is the Coaster Josh, signing out.